Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading, and today's pick a card reading is very Halloween themed. So I'm filming it so that it can publish very close to Halloween 2024, but it doesn't matter what Halloween, what year you might come across this. It doesn't even matter that it's not Halloween if you come across it at some other point in time. It's meant to be a timeless reading, but I'm just filming it and going to schedule it to at least publish when we're talking about Halloween 2024. I was inspired by getting a lovely new oracle called the Halloween Forever Oracle from Blue Angel Publishing, which you see there. So that will be our kind of starting point, our entry point. But the pick a card is messages for you from beyond the veil. And I want this to be fun. I often sort of say, oh, it's going to be a fun reading, and then it gets quite serious. So what I have tried to do is build into this something that will give it both its chance to be serious when it needs to, but its chance to also have fun, because we're going to look at what the messages are. We're going to look at what's in them to secretly challenge you, certainly, but also what's in them to secretly delight you, and looking at what sort of magic and power and so forth you have out of getting these messages. So hopefully it'll tilt more towards something that's fun than anything. Probably don't need to do much more by way of introduction, except that to help with the choice, what I did was I shuffled and then laid out a card from the Halloween Forever Oracle for each of the piles as an entry point. So for pile number 1, we have card number 4, if numbers matter to you, and the intriguing Lilith's Freedom. For pile number 2, we have card number 24, Leto's Temple. And for pile number 3, we have card 40, Jack-o'-lantern of Love. So if more than one draws to you, by all means go to more than one. If you always go to pile 3, go to pile 3. But use whatever method works for you. Pause if you need to and contemplate. But once you know what reading or readings you want to go to, the timestamps are in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome pile 1 to your reading. So you came to the reading with Lilith's Freedom. And what we also have here are some cards that were intuitively chosen. I didn't know what they were underneath the Halloween Forever Oracle card. And I'll just hold that up a bit so that you can see it out of the glare. Labyrinth, choose a clear direction. And Trophy Room from the Haunted Manor Oracle, which I think helps bring those messages across from the other side. It's got that kind of Victorian seance-y type of feeling to it, this deck. And then some fortune energy that is around all of this. And we have love and the satyr, revelry, indulgence, true love and fidelity. Very interesting. So I think the message here is actually pretty clear, and we'll sort of see with tarot what's coming through. Lilith's Freedom is all about owning who you truly are. Lilith was, in terms of mythology, often seen as Adam's first wife, who was then kind of abandoned for Eve. She sits in various cosmologies and various spiritual traditions. She's fiercely independent, very strong divine feminine principle that has to do with authenticity and power. So there's a lot of power in this. Part of the message for you is knowing and trusting in a lot of power. And I would suggest this is either triggered by an issue around love and enjoyment of love and what that means, or in the pursuit of that and getting the balance right. So what interests me is that we've got the journey and the destination or outcome operating here in terms of the energy from beyond the veil. So it's an encouraging reading, an encouraging spread. And this, I think, as I say, is either the trigger or something else, but it's also the balance, I think, that you're being asked to bring in. So on one hand, there is a very strong sense here that you are meant to own your own power, who you are, your sensuality, what matters to you, who you are in relationships, all that kind of thing. And it may be triggered by a relationship and the boundaries of that relationship and what you want and your partner wants from it. Or it may be more about almost falling in love with yourself and indulging who you are without indulging yourself too much. But I almost feel like that's the trigger for you going into authenticity. The outcome is meant to be the trophy room, like what are you going to achieve, and we have this sort of like deer's head, with the antlers there. So there's something, or stag head really, as shown as a trophy. We've got the labyrinth, which says choose a clear direction, and then we have try your best. So these cards are both about backing yourself as well. With the labyrinth, this would suggest that Lilith's Freedom, there is something about you freeing who you are. So it could be freeing yourself from a past version of yourself. It could be from other people's expectations. It could be from a very specific thing. It could be a job you hate that you've just got to get out of, whatever it might be. But or from a relationship that wasn't working for you because the balance of love and indulgence was not working for you. Whatever it is, this is about owning your freedom and owning who you are. And this is saying that in some senses, just have a very broad definition of what you want to head towards, or even potentially in this case, what you want to head away from. Because the labyrinth energy, what it talks about, as you would see here with a labyrinth, like a maze, the thing about going into a maze is there's many different sort of like turns, twists and turns you can take. You can hit dead ends. You need to sort of like double back and work out what to do. So it's a very good allegory of course correction that we need to do when we're heading towards something that we want. And I know certainly that in career sort of counselling and so forth, people will often talk about having the light on the hill. And that doesn't matter too much exactly what steps you take as long as they're steps towards that. And sometimes you'll go, no, I've got to shift and change my direction a bit. I've learnt what I needed from that, but that's not going to take me forward as quickly, whatever it might be. So this is like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to end up? So to be free is to know where you want to end up. And then the trophy room, try your best, is saying you're not always going to take the right steps, and that's okay. That's what being human is, and that's what learning who we are is. But it can be useful to think back about other times in your life where you faced challenges or you weren't sure of your direction and how you've overcome things, changed, become more and more who you are, because it'll show you, it's almost like breadcrumbs in the maze. It will show you that you are capable of doing this. And I think it's the message here. But there's something also to do with love and purity and lover's enjoyment, really, because you're looking true love and fidelity here, and then you're looking at revelry and indulgence. So it may be about like, where is that balance that you want to get you to the outcome? Like it on one level, say this was about a love relationship. One side of you might be going, like I've been around the bad ones, I've been around the ones who are just in for fun and all that kind of thing. And I'm over that. I want true love. But equally, I don't want true love that's so domesticated and so chained up that I don't feel free to enjoy myself as well. So it's like defining what that outcome is, whether it's in like romantic sexual love or whether it's in something else, something that you love and you want to continue to love and love doing it and enjoy doing it, but you also want an outcome. So if you were looking at this as a creative thing, it may be, what are the boundaries of your freedom? How creative can you be to do what you really want and enjoy it, but to also succeed? And what's the direction? And like, what are the kind of roadblocks that you might have and so forth? So I think this is all, I think for most of you, it probably is about love and about your love nature and being free to express yourself in the way you want and knowing that it's okay to sometimes meander off into the wrong sort of relationship if you still know ultimately what you want in the end. But it could be also about creative things and so forth as well. But I think it's a pretty encouraging message. It's showing that you have a lot of power. And I think it's showing that there is a capacity to get to the outcome you want and to be rewarded for that. But this is the thing. What is that balance? What is the balance between the pure ideal of whatever it is that you want and that freedom represents, and then the enjoyment of life and what that represents in terms of freedom? So let's get a little bit more of an idea from tarot. So I'm going to use a Dark Mansions tarot because to me it seems like the most Halloween-y tarot deck I have. And so we'll just get a little bit more about this message. Then we're going to look, what is its secret challenge and what is its secret delight, so that we can see both sides of the coin. So a little bit more about what is this freedom all about for you. Eight of Swords, definitely about freeing your mental energy. Four of Swords reversed. Knight of Swords. Wow, a lot of this is about how you think, believe, act and communicate, I have to say, pile one. Queen of Pentacles. Ace of... This is quite specific. Like that love and the Satyr are very, very important for this. Because if I look at this, it's like, what is the, almost as I say, it's almost like the domesticated, loyal, long-term love. Let's look at it in that sense, but then extrapolate that into whatever scenario this fits for you. There is a real potential here to identify and achieve that long-term committed love, connection or whatever. But is there an expense you feel in doing that of what you truly love or how you would want to express yourself? That's something you're being asked to think about and work out where's the kind of midway point there. What this is saying as well as a kind of like it is definitely calling you to free yourself. It says that you have certain beliefs or you're surrounded by other beliefs. So for some people, this could be quite genuinely something like, you are deciding that your preferences are different to what, the the people around you would have expected of you or whatever, and you're freeing yourself so that you can pursue them because it's real. And then it's like, and then what does that look like? If it's not heteronormative, for instance, like what does that look like? Just as an example. But there's definitely a mental prison you're meant to come out of. And the thing about the Eight of Swords is it's nearly always portrayed in a way that someone can escape. This particular version of it's interesting. The first thing is seeing the issue, seeing that it's possible, because in this she's got her hair across her eyes. Quite often it's blindfolded in this. But the other thing that I think is interesting is the way that it's particularly portrayed with the swords are actually holding her gown together. And I think this is about the imprisonment of passion because the gown is red. So, particularly in this context. So I think this is, how are your attitudes imprisoning your passions? That's the first thing to ask yourself, because you're being asked to sort of come out from hiding on that and move forward. And it's almost a damn the consequences type of attitude with the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords is quick. So it says that once you've made this decision, you can move quite quickly towards what you want. But the Knight of Swords can also act before they think, which is sort of interesting for the sword suit. But it's the one card that can maybe go too quick out of the swords card. So I do think this is the core. What is the willing limit to passion that brings you the sense of commitment, compared to what is the amount of passion being constrained that would actually take away the love. So I think there's just something in that for you around relationship, and particularly romantic relationships, but anything or creative work. It's like, what is the compromise? Because again, if you know what that looks like, you can decide whether or not in the labyrinth something is too much of a compromise. So what's the secret challenge? Let's look at that first, the more tricky thing, and then we'll have a look at the secret delight. So the secret challenge of this message from Beyond the Veil to you is Four of Wands reversed, the Hanged Man, the Devil reversed, the King of Cups. The challenge is to stop sacrificing what you really want to fit in with other people's ideas here, I would say, or society's ideas or something like that. The challenge is to free yourself. The whole challenge is about that. And without demonizing what it is that you want. I find it very interesting with the Devil reversed as a form of freedom. There's a number of different cards that can be about freedom, but this is the Devil reversed. So it's sort of like one of the ways to free yourself is to not demonize or not second guess what it is that you want. Now, it doesn't have to be, as I say, that, you kind of have a different preference than maybe what your friends do or whatever. That's just an example. It could be around how you want to express yourself creatively. It could be about what you want to do as a job. It could be anything. But freedom is the thing, without worrying about sacrificing yourself for harmony, because it's like the two aren't necessarily going to cohabit, so to speak. It's like if you truly free yourself, there's going to be some pushback. But that's the thing, like not sacrificing yourself for that and becoming emotionally mature about it and emotionally settled. And emotionally sort of like authentic, that kind of thing. Also, I think part of the challenge is you really care about people. And it's interesting to me because you do want to come to this sense of the mature love. And if you look at these two cards leading into it, it's like the Ace is the beginning of that journey and the King is the end of the journey. So it is about getting to the trophy. It is about getting to the end. Like the big challenge is to get to that and feel emotionally like your cup is upright rather than you've lost some of that. So it really is something about how do you compromise the pure passion and then the wish for kind of commitment, fidelity in whatever form this is. And part of it is that your freedom is very different. And think about Lilith. She's been literally demonized, and this is the other thing. She's been literally demonized, and not demonizing yourself in the process. So let's see what could secretly delight you. If there's a challenge about what other people think, really, and if you go, I'm going to free myself, whatever, it's feeling at the end that you have got the balance where you feel both mature and balanced and fidelity towards something, but you also still feel your heart. So what is the secret delight that this message can bring you? The Star reversed, the Wheel of Fortune, The Knight of Pentacles. The Ace of Swords. Oh, okay. The time is coming for you to re-envisage your dream. So it's the right time. That's part of the delight. The message is telling you it's the right time now. The time for freedom, the time for clarity, the time for pursuing what you really want is there. And fortune is encouraging you to remember that. So the delight is to be able to reclaim your North Star and know that you can pursue what you want with the degree of commitment that you feel is necessary without losing the emotional stuff by having an aha moment that where the balance is. So it's like having the aha moment in the labyrinth where you just finally say, oh, that's how I get through the labyrinth. Or the aha moment of, as the trophy room talks about, when you think about when you've faced other challenges, actually I've managed those and this is how I've done it. And it will have been because this is a mental thing. It's a new way of thinking about what you would dedicate yourself to. The time is right for that, and the time is right to regain your star. So everything is coming into alignment for you. It's just you just need to within yourself really define what that North Star is. Like, what's the end of the labyrinth? What does that look like? Because everything then starts clicking into place because you've got a new idea, a new dream in some way. So for some of you, if this is creative or something like that, then it might have been that you were close but no cigar with something, and then like you get this aha, and then you go, oh, that's how it balances. That's how I could care about doing this enough to do it a long term, but also feel that there was joy in it, and there was always a chance to experiment and explore as well. So it could be any of those things. So what magic energy around you do you need to bring out the delight more than the challenge, I guess? To meet the challenge or to bring out the delight? Euonia, everything in perfect balance. Yeah, it's about balance. Like both passion, there's nothing wrong with revelry if it's not done in excess. There's nothing wrong with love if it's not done to the point that it almost squeezes its passion out of itself. Everything in balance. Once you sort of understand the balance, that's the key. And panacea, there is a solution for every problem, knowing that there is a solution. It's a mental question. It's a matter of belief. It's also a matter of a new idea. So you can work your way through this. It's saying the time has come for you to get this balance right and for you to have the freedom that you want, which is very, very positive. What spiritual gifts will help you? Tarot card reader. Okay, so you may well do this, or tarot readings like this may be important, but it would certainly suggest you would have that ability to do that. And if you're trying to look for where the balance is and the hint in that, the tarot itself is very balanced. So it's a way of getting to that different way of thinking about things. And wow, Instagram platform. So whenever I get this type of card in this deck, I feel like you're meant to express something. Like how broad that is up to you, but expressing your idea, expressing all of that, expressing who you are. A lot of this has to do with you being able to vocalize and express who you truly are and what you truly love and what you truly want in your life. And you'll probably be quite inspirational to other people in that space if you do it. Okay, so I also thought it would be good to get you an archangel as a bit of a sort of like support, because if you're dealing with beyond the veil, in the liminal, and with Halloween and with the veil being thin. So let's see an archangel that wants to support you in this message. Oh, wow. Galliol. I'm not sure if I ever pronounced her name right. She's about victory. She's about taking the battle on. She's about owning her own power, her solar power in many ways. So, got beyond the veil, it's sort of like probably in the realm of the moon and the night and all that kind of thing. So you've got an archangel with a kind of solar power, the kind of solar plexus energy with the color yellow so strongly. This is bringing the strength and the charisma and the capacity to move forward and to be victorious. So again, the time is right for this, and this was saying right from the beginning, there was a lot of power in you that wants to be expressed. Okay, let's see what the stars want to say as well. First house, yeah, who are you in the world? This is all about that. This is your coming out party in whatever that means to you. Sagittarius and the freedom of philosophy, because Sagittarius is about philosophy, what you believe, the freedom spiritually as well, potentially, if any of this is around that, and expressing your love and your creativity and your spiritual beliefs in within a system that works for you, but it's all about expansion, fiery energy again, and the third quarter moon, the release, out with the old and in with the new. So it's like letting go of that. But I think that's more the point for you. That's why I said it right at the beginning. I think it's more about knowing, it's not, maybe not fully, and maybe that's why the star was reversed, not fully having a vision about what the ultimate balance would be to you. It's more, what wouldn't it be? It's almost by a process of elimination that you get to the clarity, and you get to what you want to be and how you want to express yourself. Okay, so what I wanted to finish up with, I've got a trio of decks that have a healing focus and an empowerment message, and I thought that's a nice way to sort of come back from beyond the veil with the message that you've got. And it's also a way to kind of ground it in the real world too, rather than just beyond the veil. So what is the healing message associated with this for you? Belonging. Yeah, where do you belong? Who do you belong with? Who do you want to belong with? And how do you move away from if you feel like you're not going to belong somewhere, and what does that mean to you, and how do you find where you do belong? So there's a healing around that, about being able to be true to yourself and belong and connect and have committed relationships and all of that sort of thing. What's the best focus for you with this message? Breathing. Just take a breath. Just let it happen. Just sort it out, because a lot of this is in the mind, so there could be a lot of sort of stress associated with it. But if you just kind of like zen out a bit and just kind of like think about, where do you want to be? Or as I say, maybe more to the point, where don't you want to be? Then it starts to sort it out. And lastly, a message of empowerment for you. Pile 1. Bring the light from within you to the surface to shine. Yeah, there it is. Like what you want to do, what you want to act, what you want to create, who you want to love, whatever this is about, it's actually a very beautiful thing. But it's maybe been not seemed to fit in, or it's been demonized a bit, or you felt that to fully express it on a long-term thing might actually then stop it from being enjoyable. I'm not sure what it is. There's some sort of balance there, but if you bring that into balance, then you can solve that problem. It's about bringing your light out. So I hope that resonates for you, Pile 1. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Leto's Temple, and Leto is the mother of Artemis and another of the goddesses. I might check the book just to see if it tells me. I know Artemis is one. Yeah, Artemis and also Apollo. So she's a lesser known Greek goddess, but nevertheless a fairly important one, and often seen as sort of like a representation of the great goddess or the mother goddess. And you see that she's with wolves there. So there's a sort of a tendency of this card to be about being either protective or needing protection of the pack. You may need, or you may have a protective role on others. And there's very much at this point of the reading 2 ways that I could read these cards. And one is that this is about you protecting someone else. The other is how you need to protect yourself. But the underlying message in both is pretty much the same. It's just where it's focused. Because we take that protective energy, or the need for protection, from the Haunted Manor deck, which I feel is a good way of communing with the other side, or the beyond the veil. We firstly have bats. Mind what you send out. Bats are creatures of communication and are highly sensitive. But, we talk about bats in the belfry and all that kind of thing. This is a card that talks about where there could be low expectations or negative self-talk, and if you send that out, it returns to you. So there's that energy. Then we also have gargoyles, silence your inner demon. Gargoyles are also misunderstood, just like bats are. Gargoyles are actually highly protective. That's why they're often on churches and so forth. But this is where, again, your inner demon being your doubts or something like that, or second-guessing yourself, or negative thinking or whatever, can affect what you're dealing with. And then when we look at the fortune energy that's being talked about, firstly we have the Harlequin, true feelings are masked, and secondly, the Maiden, a new relationship blossoms. This feels to me like either you are in a new relationship and you're kind of thinking, oh, there's something hidden here. It's not going to work out. Like there's almost like you see a pattern and you think, oh, it's just like other times, blah, blah, blah. Or I'm not good enough, or whatever it might be. There's some negative talk and there's sort of like some sense of almost cautionary pessimism operating around it for yourself. Or you are someone protecting someone and you're looking at a relationship and you're seeing it blossom, but you're thinking, I'm not sure if that's true. And whether or not that's true, you're kind of getting into this sort of negative cycle of maybe being overprotective. So it could be either of those things. It may be both of those things, and it just depends upon who comes to the reading. But hopefully maybe the tarot will give us a better idea whether this is more your own internal negative self-talk that might be making you doubt a relationship, whether it's a love relationship or whether it's, a great business partnership or friendship, whatever it might be. And so to protect yourself, you're kind of being cautiously pessimistic, or whether it's that you think someone else that you care about needs to be. So let's see with tarot. So we're going to start with a little bit more about the key message. So that will hopefully give me a sense about which we're talking about, or if we're talking about both, and it just depends on who's coming to it. Then we're going to have a look at what is the secret challenge of this to deal with any of the sort of heavier stuff, and then what is the secret delight of this message from beyond the veil for you. But firstly, let's get a little bit more of a fix on what's going on. And I'm using the Dark Mansions Tarot because I think it's probably my most Halloween-y type of tarot. Queen of Cups reversed, Queen of Swords reversed, Page of Pentacles, High Priestess, Nine of... Wow, you're worried about something. Like, I think you'll know if this is the right reading for you. If this doesn't resonate, if neither of those things resonate, then maybe try one of the other readings. Excuse me. My feeling is that this is more likely to be that you're protective of someone, and the question for you and the thing you've got to work out is that the right instinct, and you need to somehow work out how to support that person without triggering, resistance and negativity or being seen as being too critical. Because like with Queen of Cups reversed, my first sense was someone's not telling the truth here. And in of the two ways of looking at this, one looked more like it's probably better than you think and you're being negative. But this suggests to me there's something about this situation that's not authentic. Then we have the Queen of Swords reversed, which is highly self-critical. So, and that could be critical of others, or it could be self-critical and, I can't say anything, but I see this going on or something. And the Page of Pentacles, which feels to me like protecting someone, like being the mother energy coming out, whether you're actually older than the person or not, there's just a protective energy. So it feels more like the Leto or Leto thing is the big thing here. It's like a protective energy where maybe it's being overly protective. But, it could be the other way around, because it could be that you're just doubting yourself and you're doubting the authenticity of something that's new and hasn't formed yet. And you're worried about seeing it. It's either that you want to be protected but you don't want to get involved and you don't want to see this, but you're just going to worry in silence. Or you just don't, kind of like you don't want to know. Like, it's like, I've got this sense. And it's interesting, I wouldn't be at all surprised if a lot of the people that come to this reading are highly psychic, and psychic in the sense of that they often see the future before it happens, because I do that. And what I found sometimes is when I get like a bad feeling about something, or I worry about something, I think, oh gee, I hope this isn't prophetic. I hope that it's just me thinking out possibilities, and so it's almost like you're trying to push it away. You don't want to be right. So there's that kind of energy. And it feels primarily like protecting someone else. But if it is protecting yourself, you are protecting your heart, almost like a child. You're protecting it in because of a very low set of expectations about what could be going on. And I think it's that you don't trust the other person. But my feeling is that it's not necessarily right. Like, either way, it's not necessarily right. So let's see what the challenge is of this situation for you. The Emperor reversed, the Ten of Pentacles reversed, the Seven of Cups reversed, the Four of Pentacles. Okay. I think that, again, whichever it is, if this is that you sort of like you've become attracted to someone but you kind of have an expectation of it not working out, then you've had something really devastating that's happened. And if it's you're protecting someone, it may be because you've dealt with problems like this before. Because like with the Emperor reversed and the Ten of Pentacles reversed, it feels like there may have been a big power struggle, something not particularly good in a relationship that it looked like it was going to last and it fell apart, or huge tensions within a family or something like that, or like you're you've fallen for someone, and it may not even be the person that you're not sure of. It might be you think your family's not going to approve. There's something like that going on that's really, really deeply ingrained with family and generational stuff, even potentially generational karma and power and all that kind of thing. And you feel like the most realistic thing to do is just to sort of like keep things at a low level. So if this was someone you were protecting, you try to keep them close because you would think it's the most realistic thing to do, and try not to give the negative energy, but try to protect them. But it's a kind of like that kind of protection that clings rather than sort of like truly protects. And if it's you, it's like, I'm not going to let this grow. I'm just going to sit with what I've got, because if I want more from this, then I'm just going to get disappointed. Like, that seems to be the thing. Now, I don't think that's right. This is what I'm sort of saying. I think this is why the message is coming to you. I think that either the relationship has more going for it than you think, or if you're looking after someone, there's more to it, there's better than this actually is. So the challenge is to understand that the past isn't going to repeat. That, I think, is the message here. So what's the delight of it? If you can sort of get past that fear, what is the delight of this message for you? Nine of Cups reversed, Page of Wands, Two of Wands, Eight of Pentacles. Oh, okay, all right. So the thing that was lost, which was the sense of joy, the sense of having a dream, a sense of having a wish, and that maybe was because of a dominating person before, that's what it kind of looks like, can be reignited. It can be reignited. And in fact, it just takes the choice to do that. It's like it's not as big a thing as you think, and you have the skills. If you are dedicated to working on that and like making the choice and just working on what it is, it has a lot of promise. So it will take that dedication and it will take that work, but you do have the skills, you have the ability to do this. So I think that the delight is you don't have to be defined by the past. The past would sort of sit here feeling, oh no, it's not going to work. Whereas if you go, no, I'm just going to make the choice to give it a go and I'm going to work on it, you'll find there's a very different outcome. And if you're protecting someone, you have the skills to help them and to almost educate them to go towards what it is they actually want, and to find that they're making the choices rather than others making the choices for them. So I think the delight is that history doesn't have to repeat, but you have to believe that and decide just to sort of like do the work, and then you'll see that's the case. So, okay, what magic will this bring out in you? Excuse me. Liberation, free yourself. So freeing yourself from whatever the worry is. You're very worried about whatever this is. You can free yourself from that worry. It's not true. The past is, you are actually freed from the past. And tangibility, make your dreams real. It's possible. Time is now. You can make your dreams real. That's tilting towards this is more likely to be love or a connection or something. It is a connection, I think, with somebody, whether it's a romantic one or not, that it's more about you, I would say. But if you are protecting someone and part of your dream is to protect them and see them happy, then you can make that real. You can liberate yourself from the past. Like that, all those things that have made you so cautious about it or cautious on somebody else's behalf, they're more in your mind than they're actually in this situation. What spiritual gifts could help you? Ascension Path 9, spirit determines everything. Yeah, so like understanding that, and 9 is a completion number for a new cycle to come in. So like your spirit, it's often spirit is connected to wands actually. So like that kind of igniting of your spirit can redefine things and can redetermine everything. And Ascension Path 7, which is the pineal gland is fully open. So connecting with others psychically. Because this sort of energy would shut that down. As I say, I think you actually are very psychic. I think you see things happen before they do. But like now, as I say, you get caught with that. You really do. It's like, oh my God, I just sort of imagine something bad happening. Is that going to happen? I think in this case, no. in this case, no, pile two. And once you sort of like understand that and connect properly with people rather than like with all the protective barriers around it, you can find that you're actually more in control of this than you think. Okay, let's get you an archangel. I thought, if you're going to be beyond the veil, it would be good to have an archangel protecting you. So, Cassiel. Well, that's very lovely. She's all about serenity. She's all about being able to express yourself emotionally and know that you're protected. She is a protective influence as well. So there is a lot of emotional fear around this, and I'm not sort of rousing on you, pile two. I'm not saying like, oh, don't think that way. It's perfectly understandable. You've been through some stuff by the looks of things. It's just that it's very easy to presume the past is the future, and that's not the case here. And so I think this is Cassiel is here to allow you to be vulnerable and to explore and take it step by step, whether it's for you or protecting someone else, rather than, as I say, kind of holding it really close, like the Four of Pentacles, in a protective way that doesn't allow something to breathe and grow. Okay, so let's see what the stars have to say. What's the guidance of the stars? Air. Yeah, it's all about things that you believe. A different way of thinking about things is a form of liberation in and of itself. Uranus, yeah, and like sudden change, sudden things coming through. Whatever this is might have triggered quite suddenly, like a new relationship coming in or somebody that you care about suddenly involved in something or a new job or something. There's something very transformative about it though, and it's kind of electrical kind of energy. But, it would be easy to get your wires crossed as well. That's why it's important to kind of have the liberated energy. And new moon, the seeding, plant what you desire, because you can make your dreams real. Or you can protect the person and let their dreams become real. Okay, so to finish up, I have a trilogy of decks that give a healing message, a focus message, and an empowerment message. And I feel like they bring it into the material world. We've been looking at this on a kind of like liminal space and psychology and spiritual level. So let's just close out the reading with a message of healing, focus, and empowerment of how this message from beyond the veil can help you in your day-to-day life. So the healing message, betrayal. Yeah, there's something that happened to you. This is to heal that. This energy coming through is not history about to repeat, and whatever it was, it's actually meant to free you from that. So what should you focus on that will help you move towards the future? Rejuvenation. Do a bit of self-indulgence, go to a spa, take time out, enjoy what you're doing without sort of like trying to second guess what's in it, anything sort of sensual and so forth. And a message of empowerment to close out the reading for you. Healing your projections will help you avoid co-creating discordant situations. So yeah, this is all about like, something happened to you and it's something significant, and you're either trying to protect someone else from it or you're protecting yourself, or a bit of both. But either way, letting that heal and knowing you can move forward and make better decisions, you won't project that out and you won't create another situation that doesn't need to be that way. So I hope that resonates for you, pile two. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile three, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Jack-o'-lantern of Love. And that card is all about finding and being close to the people who you have the best relationships with. Sometimes rekindling relationships, friendships, love relationships, or otherwise, just finding those that you feel truly comfortable with and you bask in the warmth of the love, just as this little witch is basking in the warmth of the jack-o'-lantern of love. So there's something in this message from the Beyond the Veil about being with the people who care about you and you care about, and discerning who those people are. And it doesn't have to be, the most famous or powerful people. It's the people who are true to you and you're true to. So there's something here about relationship, and it could be love relationship, but I think it's a bit broader than that. With the other cards that are here, I think that there's two things that are coming across. One is that possibly you felt out of sorts, you felt alone, you felt misunderstood, or something like that. So there's a very strong feeling with the two Haunted Manor cards. When we talk about altar, keep the faith, and we talk about hearth, know your worth or value your worth, about coming from that sense of feeling alone or misunderstood or feeling you made mistakes or whatever it might be, but knowing ultimately, believing in yourself and who you want to be and how you want to be in the world, and finding the right connections for that, but also in doing it, being discerning with it. Because knowing your worth, not sort of like, oh, well, I'll change everything about myself to be able to have people to connect with or whatever. It's actually valuing that, value who you are, value what you're at home with, value where you make others at home, that kind of thing. So there's a sort of a discernment energy here about relationship so that you can be truly yourself. What I like about the fortune energy with it for you, firstly, is we have the green man, the forces of nature favour you. So your nature will favour this. You may have felt misunderstood, but you will find the people that you're not misunderstood by. Your nature is very, very wild and connected and authentic. So the green man also, as a representation of that, is a support for you in following your nature. So there's a very positive energy of nature will find nature, like will find like. But this is why it's very important to stay faithful to who you are and to value that, so that you're not looking for something that's different to fill an emptiness you might feel, or to validate a part of yourself that you would want to be real but isn't. And in fact, what is real about you is probably 10 times better. So it's that kind of energy of nature is actually on your side. The other thing is we have the seer, follow your intuition. You're highly psychic, you're highly intuitive. Your energy to find that will be right. But I think that the key here is that you may have not valued your own nature enough or trusted your own intuition enough and felt, oh no, I have to be like these people or whatever, whether it's in a workplace or in a group of friends. But once you really start to understand, you know who you truly are and you at your natural self, that's the right way to be, then you're able to keep the faith and connect to the right people, so that when you're drawn into that sort of comfort of love, it's genuine. So I think this is all about finding your people, your soul family, your tribe, whatever it might be. So let's see what we get. We're going to use tarot and we're, excuse me, firstly going to get a little bit more about the message. Then we're going to ask, what is the challenge in it for you? What's the secret challenge? And then we're also going to ask, what's the secret delight? Because I wanted to deliberately put in something around this that could make it a bit of fun and quite lovely in the end. And the messages so far have been like that. They've been they've talked about in the other readings, and I think the same here, the challenge of being true to oneself and true to one's heart. But they've also shown the beauty of doing that. So that seems to be what's in common between them, even though the messages are very different. So let's see a little bit more about the message for you. The Hierophant reverse. Yeah, you're different. You've been in the wrong group of people, the wrong workplace, whatever it might be. Now, if you're in a workplace, I'm not saying rush out and not have any income or whatever. It may take a bit of time, but it's like understanding you're different. You're different from the pack. You're unique. Queen of Cups reversed, and trying to be what you aren't doesn't make you happy. Queen of Swords reversed. That's interesting. They came up together in another reading. So I think that there may be some similarity between two of these readings. Ten of Pentacles reversed. King of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, I think for a lot of you, this might be about like leaving a workplace or somewhere where you're making money or something. It could be that you're very different to your family and you've got to find your soul family rather than your actual family. That's a possibility as well. But when I sort of see like the Hierophant, which is often like places of learning, places of regulation and all that kind of thing, it's reversed. We've got the King of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles, which are often like workplaces, where we make money, all that kind of thing. It just feels to me as though the part of the message here is that even if you did used to feel you fit in with some of these things, you've now reached another level. You're more unconventional, and like if you stayed where you were rather than looking for the connections to those that your soul is telling you about, then you're going to get increasingly negative on yourself. It's hard to keep the faith and know your worth and so forth, and it won't feel like you can express yourself. So there's definitely a calling here of going towards what is authentic in you. So, and it's a big shift. It's a big shift. And as I say, it may be that it was fine for a while and it's not anymore. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean you did anything wrong before either. So it's not really saying that, but it is saying that now you've got to have faith in who you are and in your intuition and into what's calling you and really value that. because trying to kind of fit into material things that are almost in the rear view mirror is not going to help you. So what's the challenge for you? The secret challenge. The Tower reversed, the Six of Swords, the World, the Two of Cups. Okay. So firstly, it's how to make this change in a way that's peaceful rather than tumultuous. So the Tower reverse is like, how do you do this step by step? It's actually saying do it step by step. The best way to do this peacefully is step by step, but you do need to complete something. Like something needs to end for you to move towards what you want. But the challenge will be to do it in a way that is peaceful, so that you can complete it. And also so that you can retain any good relationships that were associated with whatever this is, and also be ready and open and peaceful enough to allow new good relationships coming in. So there is a call to change here. It's not just to sort of find your soul family or whatever. There is a change that needs to happen, and to go through it, and it may take a bit of time. So that's the challenge of it. What's the secret delight for you? The Emperor reversed, Ten of Swords reversed, Six of Cups reversed, Three of Pentacles. Okay. That, I think whatever, even if it was okay for you before, whatever you've been, people in whatever this situation is, work, family, friendships, whatever it is, love relationships, it was an oppressive situation, but that is ending. Like once you start doing that, that ends. It's imminent for that to end. So the stress and the worry about it can end once you sort of like relinquish that as having value and move towards what has value. It's like and being really quite unsentimental about it. I think for many of you, this could connect to things with family. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't communicate with your family. You have to like go, boundaries and so forth around it. But maybe it does for some of you, but I don't think it necessarily means that. But you can incrementally shift away from this, but you have to kind of be very unsentimental about the past. But the delight of that is it brings you towards your people, the Three of Pentacles, and you can start to build stuff that is more true to you, the people that would collaborate with you, the people who would be your friends. I think it's more about friendship than romantic love. I think it's more about finding your soul family than romantic love. But it is possible that coming out of that, there is a reward of something like romantic love as well if you're looking for that. But the delight is knowing that the old patterns are at an end and that you don't feel any great regret in moving forward to what you want, even if it takes a little bit of time to do it. Okay, so let's have a look at what magic you need to bring this about. Tangibility, make your dreams real. So like knowing what they are. Like that's part of it. It's interesting, there's been a little bit of a sub-theme in at least a couple of these readings, which is sort of like sometimes when we're moving towards what we should be moving towards, it's not so much about knowing fully what that is, it's about knowing what it isn't. And so like tangibly, Tower, Six of Swords, step by step, moving away from the things that aren't right, starting to define better what would be right. And Euphoria, honouring yourself, knowing your value. Saying that's number one, I'm not doing it to be selfish, I'm not doing it to be egotistical, I'm doing it because it's the only way I can be authentic. So I think that and the more that you do that, the more you can make these tangible changes. So let's see a couple of spiritual gifts that could arise in you to help with this or arise out of doing this. Ascension Path 7, pineal gland is fully open. Like it's definitely going to sort of like enhance your already significant kind of psychic ability. And Ascension Path 9, Buddha plane, spirit determines everything. That's really weird. Those cards came up in one of the others in the opposite order, but they came up. So there is going to be some of you have probably gone to more than one reading. And I think those two came up together in one of the readings. And it was sort of like a combination of once you have opened your pineal gland, then you can determine your path. So this is why we're going back to the seer and the green man. You have a very strong psychic sense. You should be able to hook into that and follow that. And that also helps you know your worth as well. Okay. Also want to see what kind of archangel can support you and guide you, because when you're beyond the veil, you know, it's sort of like a place of mystery and the moon and, you know, like the karmic cycles and all that sort of thing. So it could be helpful to have an archangel helping you with this message. Azariel, she's beautiful. And she makes sense because, you know, she's obviously an archangel connected with the water, with the emotion, with our dreams. She's connected with Neptune, as you would think, with the trident that she's holding. So she's about connecting to our emotional trueness, our emotional authenticity, our emotional expression. So this is something about being able to express who you are and to be safe with the people to express who you are, rather than feeling that you're in a stranger in a strange land or something like that. But she'll allow that kind of, and I think also the water will allow, you know, kind of gently moving the past away, sort of washing it away, so you can move towards almost, you see the gold here, the reward that you can have in terms of finding your people and your soul tribe. Okay, let's see what the stars want to say to guide you. Neptune. So yeah, and psychic. You're as psychic as this group. Really are. So this is all about the liminal space. It's all about your psychic ability. It's all about your dreams. North Node, and heading towards who you are, heading towards what your life purpose is, and being authentic to that. And of course, when you think about the South Node, is what you move away from. If you look in your chart, the house and the sign that they're in is very indicative, I think, not only of what we're moving away from and towards in this life, but I think that the South Node, where it's placed, tells you something about your most recent past life. And I think the North Node tells you a little bit about what you're preparing for in your next life as well too. So this is a journey towards your soul family and towards the authenticity. And you're highly psychic. You have to be around other people who are like that. And the waning crescent moon, the surrender, release control of the universe. Yeah, like just release expectation beyond that. You want authentic connection. You know, let the guides sort of help you. Let this energy come through. Just believe in yourself, but don't worry too much about the outcome. It will work itself out. Okay, so to finish off the reading, I have a trilogy of decks that talk about healing, focus, and empowerment. And this brings it more into the day-to-day, because this has been a lot about the spiritual, the psychological, that kind of thing. This is like a way of finishing off with the last message from Beyond the Veil for Halloween, about how you can heal, how you can focus, and what empowerment you can bring in. So the healing for you of this message on a kind of more day-to-day level is... okay, not being a martyr to anything. Yeah, see, I think you've kind of been caught, like in a family situations, work situations, or whatever, in not following what was true to you, following what everybody else wants. That's what you have to let go of. That's what you have to you're meant to find love. You're meant to find connection. You're meant to find your soul family. You're meant to find your true spiritual ability. The other thing too is that, like, many of you are very psychic, and you can sometimes find when you are a psychic person that sometimes it feels like you exist for everybody else. This is important to find the others that exist for you as well as you existing for them, so that you get some balance. So what can you focus on? Joining who you connect with, joining the right people, the people where it's reciprocal, the people where, you know, the only time you don't hear from them is when they want you to, you know, give them a psychic message or do something for them. Like joining the right people, connecting with the right people. So a final message of empowerment for you from Beyond the Veil, pile 3. It's okay to make mistakes. Forgive yourself. So don't worry about the past. Don't worry about, and don't beat yourself over the head. You think, oh yeah, that's right. I've kind of like always been doing that for everybody else, and I don't have time for myself, and that's my problem. Go, no, don't worry about it. Just gradually move towards what you want, and it's almost by knowing what you don't want. I think that's the important part of the message. So I hope that this resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.